Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to go over Neo Tokyo, how you can buy the best set, and just the ins and outs of finding the right things because it's really confusing for a lot of people who are not inside Neo Tokyo to understand and not get ripped off, right? Because this is a really big purchase, so you want to make sure you make the right decision. I'm also going to go over things like what's planned for Neo Tokyo and the elite part and bytes, everything you need to know. All right, so to get started, I just want to do a brief overview first and then go into more details after. So basically how you buy Neo Tokyo is you need 4 pieces. And sorry if you're already aware of this, I just want to start from a more basic level for anybody who's starting, and then I'll go into more advanced stuff after. But you would need all 4 of these. So you would need to buy an identity, which is about 20 ETH right now. You'd need to buy a vault card, which is 7 ETH. Floor, you need to buy an item cache, which is 3 ETH, and you would need to buy land, which is 11 ETH. Now, please don't just buy the floor. You will get ripped off if you don't know what you're doing, and I want to be able to help you maximize your money because this is a lot of money. So, sticking to the brief stuff, basically once you buy all 4, you would go to Neo Tokyo, you would connect your wallet, you would click on all 4 pieces. It looks like the vault box is optional, but really, like, you probably want to just buy all 4 pieces, and then you would click upload, and it's going to cost quite hefty gas fee depending on how Ethereum's doing. I'd say a minimum of like $150 up to over $1,000. And then you will have your citizen, which will then generate bytes, and to claim your bytes you need to go to the bytes contract and basically just claim it there. It's not auto generated. It is, but you have to claim it every time. Now, another way that you can buy is by clicking on Mint Identity. You need 2,000 of bytes in order to even get to generate an identity, and that would be identity number 2,500 and onwards. So that's the gist of getting into Neo Tokyo and how you would do it. I'm gonna get a little bit more into now the pieces in general, and really the stuff that you need to maximize your money is going to be later on, but I need to explain these basic things first. So with the identities, what does the border color mean and what does the inner color mean? I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. It's just been like a few months since I actually looked into this, so the information is what I remember in my head. From what I remember, the color of the text is about yield. So if we open these up, this blue color should be the actual yield, which would make this maybe a mid tier and this a low tier. So the border has nothing to do with the credit yield. Now the credit yield earns you bytes per day, anywhere from 1 to 15 bytes per day, depending on the yield. And as you can see, if you earn 15 bytes a day and it's at $100, let's say, that's $1,500 a day, which is a lot of money. Like, that's insane amounts of money that's being generated. And let's say it stays the same, right? And you make $1,500 a day times 365 days. You're talking about $500,000 income a year. That is incredible. So let's just quickly look. I just want to verify if I'm even right. So this is a low credit yield, and this one is a mid yield. So I could be right, I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, it would have to do with the yield. And you can see that this credit right here is higher than the black ones. So it looks like I remember correctly, which is if you want a higher yield, it's going to be the color of the actual text. And white, of course, is going to be like a 2, whatever. It's a super low yield. We can even check one more. Next up is the border. So the border actually has to do with the type of class and ability and other stuff in general. The border is just more gonna be so for, in my opinion, if you really want a elite citizen. But I'll get in more to that later. So if I were to buy a citizen, I would want to buy something near the floor that has some kind of benefit, whether it be the border or the text. And it looks like the closest one that you can get is this one of 24 Ethereum for a higher than normal yield. Um, and it just goes so on. Now, I'm going to get into the elite citizen now because I think that's you're going to get confused if I talk about some things without first mentioning that. To get an elite citizen, you need a under 500 rank identity. So that would be in the rarity score. So there's this website called Neo Tokyo Tools, and it tells you the rarity. You would need something under 500 rarity. Now, I don't know when this will get implemented, but basically, at some point, it will no longer be an elite citizen as based off of just the identity being under a 500 rarity. It's going to be a combination of everything combined. So you would need an average rarity of 500 throughout all four pieces to be able to be a elite citizen. That's really important to note because if you have a 267 rarity, it does not mean that you are an elite citizen in the future. Excuse me. You can also use this website. This website is incredible. I don't know who generated, but it's someone in the citizens inside, and you can see here that there is the ranks listed all through here. A rank 387 is listed for 30 ETH, and it'll tell you things like, hey, have they claimed the land? Have they opened the vault yet, etc. You can see that these are unclaimed, so they're going to be more expensive. And it tells you the yield as well, from the credit yield to the credits, etc. This is a really great website. All right, so that's it for the identity. Now, I would say the only thing that you need to be aware of is this unclaimed part. Because imagine this, if you buy 3 parts, part 1, identity, part 2, the vault, part 3, the item cache, you will also need to buy a land unless you can get a vault that's unopened, a identity that's unopened, and a item cache that's unopened. If you have one piece that is opened and you buy an identity in a vault that has not gotten a land yet, you're screwed. You would still need to buy a cache that has not opened a land. So just be aware of that with the identities, and bytes as well. So with the identity, there's two things. There's land claim and there's vault open. The vault open is basically how you can get bytes for free. So as of right now, the vaults in itself have credits in them. I think I'm just going to go through this because it's a little bit easier. So you can click here, right? Unopened. This means that they have not claimed the bytes inside. You can see that this will have 437 bytes inside of the box, and it's unopened. Now, if we uncheck this, you can see that a lot of these have actually claimed the bytes inside. And in the same way, the land has been claimed on this, but this one right here has not claimed land, so you would need also an identity that has not claimed land. I hope I'm not making this too confusing, but basically, if you just want a floor set of Neo Tokyo and you just want to buy all 4 pieces, then I would just try to find something close to the floor that has special use cases. So like it has some kind of better race, it has some kind of ability, etc. And I'd find it as close to the floor as I can. So let me give you a quick example. Right, 19.5 is the current floor, but I would look at like anything from 24 to 19 and I'd say, okay, what's the difference of these? This one's a chat support. This one's a cook. Is that any better? This one's tired, bloodshot. This one has a low yield, etc. This one's a punk. This one has better rarity. And I would just be like, okay, you know what? This one has a higher, like a worse rarity than this one. So maybe I just stick to this one because I'm okay with that. So then I buy this one and I understand that I don't want to open the bytes, or I don't need to claim land because I want to buy it on my own. So that's what I would do. I would go through this website and I would just look and buy all 4 pieces going by what I'm sharing right now. The more complicated part is going to come after. But oh boy, this one's going to be a lot longer. I don't know if I'll be able to go all the way to the bottom. Okay, here we go. So you can see that the credit multiplier for all these are really low. But this one has an item and the rarity is lower. So maybe instead of buying the floor at 7, I would buy the 7.7 ETH because it has a book and it also has not opened its bytes, which has 263. This makes this more valuable. So this is instantly more valuable because at some point you can actually open the bytes inside of it and earn 263 bytes, which, you know, is worth, if we round down to 100, it's worth 26,300. This one has not claimed land. So you can see here that this will claim a land of white rarity. This is really important because if you're trying to go for, now I'm switching to explain something else. So if you're trying to just buy all 4, you would do what I shared, and I'll continue to go over that. But if you are trying to get something that has not claimed land, you would definitely want to view this and make sure that you're aware of what you would get. So you can see that these that have not claimed land, it'll actually tell you what it's going to get. And that's super beneficial because you'll be able to see like, okay, hey, this land is going to get a black rarity. This one's going to get a white rarity, white rarity, white rarity, white rarity, etc. When you go to the lands, you can see for yourself what each of these mean. The white rarity is at the floor price right now, which is at 11.6 ETH. The green rarity sells for a little bit more, and the blue goes on and on and on and so forth. So this blue rarity is obviously going to be worth more than the green. And if you look at the map of Neo Tokyo, you'll be able to see where you will be living, so to say. The orange is the most rare item out there. There's only 8 of them, and they're called I believe omnipresent. And then the purple rarity, the black rarity is next. And then after the black rarity is the orange. And then, no, the purple, and then the blue, and then the green, and then the white, I believe. I believe that's the rank. This is all super easily verifiable by just checking this stuff. You can actually go here on items, and you can just click on highest sale. Or you can actually click on the highest price, but highest sale works just fine. Highest last sale. And you can see that the orange sold for 60 ETH. The penthouse, which is the black, sold for 50 ETH, 38, and 33. Right now, this one sold today for 38.5 ETH. This is the Citadel Tower. This goes for 28 ETH, 21 ETH, and then so forth. The blue has like 3 or 4 different locations or something like that, and the green has like maybe 5 locations, and the white has like 3 locations. You can go here, check on location, and just check yourself. Glitch, Ravager, Slums is all white. Anything from Bytes to, I believe it was Midtown, is going to be green. And then Citadel Park is going to be blue, I think. And then Tower is going to be purple. And then Penthouse is black. And Omnipresent is orange. So see, this is blue, this is purple. There's only 158. And the purples, there's only 46. The penthouses, there's only 27. And the omnipresent, there's 8. Now note that these unclaimed ones are not going to show on OpenSea. So if you wanted a land and you wanted to claim it, again, you would need an identity that has not opened a land, a cache that has also not opened a land, and the vault itself is actually what determines the what will come out of it. So you want to click on Never Claim Land. You can filter by the price from highest to lowest. And then you would need to buy the, you could just buy the lowest. Right now, these caches are going for very, very, very cheap. I think that they're undervalued by a lot. Because if you don't know, it's 2,000 bytes to create a new identity. It's 500 bytes to create a new vault and 500 bytes to create a new cache. The land will be, once you actually use bytes, 3,000 bytes, you'll get the land for free. But the problem is you'll, oh, actually, I think even when you create the new identity, because you need a proof on the sheet that Alex Becker makes, you may not be able to claim land. I could be wrong on this, but yeah, let's see. Anyway, right now there's a demand shock on land because there's the least there is land, because not all identities have claimed a land. So there's more identities than land, and as you guys know, there's more vaults and caches than identities. So the most there is vaults, the second most is caches, then the third is identities, and the fourth is land. So if someone's trying to buy all four, the land is going to be the one that's overpriced. I actually think right now that the land is a bit overpriced for what it is. So just be aware of that and do the math and see if it's worth it for you to buy something where the bytes are unopened and the land is unopened. But that's a decision that you got to just do the math on. I just am here to hopefully help you understand what you need and the ins and outs of Neo Tokyo. Now I want to talk about more of what's going to happen for Neo Tokyo. So as Alex Becker has mentioned on his Twitter, he plans for a big tournament that's going to be live streamed, and he really wants to make it a really big game where there is cash prizes. It will be ongoing. Yes, there's a tournament coming, but it will continue through time. You also will get, likely, Alex Becker is not confirmed, but he's highly thinking about doing something for citizens where they get into the IDO of his game, Super Shotgun. So this is speculative. He hasn't promised anything, but he's saying it's a high chance of it. He's also just mentioned inside of the chat, he's thinking about creating a club inside of New York that's specifically for Neo Tokyo citizens, like in the real world. So, but he's like, don't quote me on this. Like, don't hold me to it. It's just, it'd be cool to have that. You will also generate bytes every single day, as I've already mentioned, and that's a really good benefit where you're earning passive money for this. And then finally, like, there's been crazy amounts of big names entering. I'm sure you guys have now heard Animoca Brands has joined in, Mutant Cats joined in, Cypher, Seedify joined in, Dan Henry, an e-commerce entrepreneur, has also bought in. He's a mini influencer, so to say, in the e-commerce world. But anyway, so people like to ask me a lot, like, how do I learn more about Neo Tokyo, and what do I need to do and understand about it so I can understand more? And really, I've covered almost everything, if not everything, in this video, and it was all figured out through just browsing myself and asking around the chat and whatnot. There's not really a place where you can learn this stuff. I'd say the biggest help is Neo Tokyo Tools, which you definitely should check out if you're gonna buy, and then just get a feel from that. But basically, that's the gist of how you would buy it and how you would just make sure that you are doing well. You can see here in the holders, just like the overall scores, the cash, the lands, etc., and browse this yourself. But I hope that really helps, guys. I know that I go over IDOs on this channel. Technically, you know, the IDO of Super Shotgun is probably going to happen with this. So, you know, like, probably you might be able to get in that way. You can see here that there is a elite floor here, which is really nice to see. And just miscellaneous stats. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope it really